So here you go. Inside this box, there's a watch that I wanted. And when I saw it released in 2012, but couldn't get it in the States, at least not through normal channels, I was a little disappointed. And then Tudor came to the US, and then they reintroduced the line, and then I wanted it even more. So in this box, there's a watch that has something special. Those of you who don't know, or maybe know, Tudor is part of the Rolex group, and until really recently they did not make their own movements. They would purchase movements from a couple of manufacturers, and this model in particular, the brand new blue Tudor Pelagos, actually has an in-house made movement by the guys over at Tudor, and that's the caliber MT5612. There are two Tudors that actually have in-house made movements. The other one's called the North Flag, and that one has the MT5621, which is basically the same movement as this, except it has a power reserve complication. But bottom line, the old outgoing model had the ETA 2824-2. Replaced this with their MT5612, and in particular this one is the blue Tudor Pelagos reference number 25600TB. The 25600TN is the noir, the black version of the same watch. In the box, you get your typical warranty card and manual and booklet and information and all that good stuff. And you also get these rubberized bracelets with a wetsuit extension if you were to choose to put it on there. I don't know that I like that. I prefer the standard titanium bracelet. We'll talk about this watch. I've been wearing it for the past couple of days. Yeah, actually, I pretty much love it. The first thing we're talking about is the movement, that in-house made movement that Tudor's put inside of this this watch case. Actually, some pretty interesting things. One of the things I want to talk about is it actually has 70 hours of power reserve. So what you can do is you can take this thing, wind it up, wear it, put it on your nightstand or on your desk or leave it wherever, and come back 2.5 days later and the thing will still be running and you have to reset it. Now, for somebody who has limited space in their watch winder, it's a big deal for me because I don't have enough for all my automatics, and I tend to rotate through my watches as the week goes by. Now, that movement is Cosc certified, which is pretty awesome for their first in-house movement. But not only that, they claim that it's actually better than the requirements for Cosc. So they say that it has an average rate change of seconds of -2 to +4 per day. So overall, that's sounds like a pretty nice movement to me. Another thing to note is this thing is 42 millimeters of solid titanium, which means that is water resistant to 500 meters, which is far deeper than I'll ever go. Most of the metal around this watch is actually titanium, save the some of the internal components, obviously, and then the case back and some of the components inside of the clasp. But overall, the titanium actually keeps the weight of this massive case down to a very comfortable weight. You can actually wear this thing all day without any problems. I always say, though, however, that because of the size of the case, it does wear bigger than 42. It may not be bigger, but it feels bigger. As opposed to the Seamaster Professional I'm wearing right here, which is 42 millimeters, but it is much thinner case, and it actually does not feel as though it is that big. Same thing happens with the new Rolex Submariners of 40 millimeters. Those things wear bigger than 40, and the closest dive watch in the Rolex line that matches up to this is probably the Deep Sea, which is actually a bigger case than this is. It feels more massive because it is, but this is actually a very comfortable watch to wear. One of the things that helps that comfort is this clasp here. So it's got the quick adjustment, and it's got a system inside of this thing, if we pop it open, that will adjust to your swelling and contraction expansion of your wrist throughout the day to keep it really comfortable. You can actually have it on that setting there, or you could put it down to one of the non-moving settings, which is where I prefer. I can see how some folks would prefer that, but I actually like a snug fitting watch. Now, the clasp is actually really solidly built. Everything on this watch is actually really awesomely fit and finished. There is not a single piece that vibrates or moves. There is no play in anywhere. It is actually very well made, very well done. You'll notice the automatic helium escape valve here. If you were to be a saturation diver, you'd definitely have a need for that, but since I don't do that kind of diving, I don't. It actually has a sapphire crystal and a ceramic matte blue bezel without a pearl. The entire thing is flat. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus there. So there's no pearl. There's a little marker there though. And I'll also say that the outside of the bezel has lume, and the entire thing will lume up. I'll try to get that to work with the lights off. If not, I'll skip that part of the video. A couple more things about the watch. The bezel, as opposed to what most of the other dive watches I have and have used and played with, doesn't have 120 clicks around. It only has 60. However, I will say though that each click feels really deliberate, really quality. There's no play on that unidirectional bezel, and it feels really tight, really great. The coin edge on it is actually really nicely and grippy. The entire watch just feels like it's built like a tank, solidly built, nice thick crown guards. The case is actually really nicely well made, and again, extremely comfortable. I am extremely happy with this watch. The matte finish, the matte blue, it gives it a demure, not ostentatious look. I was afraid this is a surrogate for a blue Rolex sub, but after playing with this and wearing it, I decided that really this thing is what I wanted, and a Rolex white gold blue Submariner would actually be a surrogate for this. I am so happy with this full-on tool watch. It's going to become one of my daily wearers. I always say though, if I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, the case thickness will probably make it more difficult, and I may not be able to wear it in that kind of situation. But otherwise, this thing can go with flip-flops, shorts, t-shirts, suit, coat, tie, any kind of situation, and only a few folks will know what you actually have on your wrist, which is even better. Overall, guys, this is a really great watch, really super comfortable, really well made. I highly recommend it. It's got a great movement. It's yet to be seen how it's going to do compared to the other watches. If Tudor's actually going to take and stay in the U.S., I expect that it will, because it's actually putting on a lot of really great models with a lot of great quality, and I think watch collectors in the U.S. are actually starting to pay attention to this watch. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Take care.